Hare Krishna, I apologize. I'm not sure what happened. Vibhari is still there?
Yes, Mataji, I stopped the recording.
No, that's okay. I am really, really sorry. I think the participants are still here. Seem like some...
Mataji, I've disabled the chat to no one. Is it fine? I
Yeah,
don't think.
thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Let's see. Can you see my screen, Vibha?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So let's see. So as we said, we're going to start with the summary of Gita in chapter 2. And we're going to start with what is the summary of what we did yesterday. Dhritarashtra inquires in verse 1.1. He says, Kim Akurvat Sanjaya. You know, what did they do? They're in a battlefield. What did they do? We also address what is Duryodhana's fear about how he was able to, he's thinking the Pandavas, like how did the Pandavas after the exile come and arrange such a huge set of army? We talked about the blowing of the conch shells. When the Kurus blew their conch shells, they were all pumped up for the war, but it did not really did not have really any effect on the Pandavas, versus when the Pandavas were blowing their conch shells, it put the fear, Hidriyani Radante, it's like it put the fear of them in there because the conch shells were transcendental, and it was one of the signs that Pandavas were going to win the war. Then Arjuna gives reasons about what not to fight. So for a quick recap, if I can have quickly people raise their hands and see, I'm going to unmute a few people to see if they remember what were the reasons. I think I have Asha Mataji. You can unmute yourself. Asha Mataji, can you unmute yourself?
Unmute.
Hare Krishna, can you, do you remember the reasons why, one of the reasons why Arjuna did not wish to fight? There were 5 reasons.
Reason मतलब क्या कारण था?
कारण कैसा जिनके लड़ाई की थी
जमीन के थी.
That's okay, Mataji. I'm going to give somebody else a chance. Nalini Shri, Nalini Mataji, you're not connected to your audio, so I don't have the ability to unmute you. Let's see, who else is there? Sarita Mataji, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Indecision, compassion, irreligiousness.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Let's see, who is there? I apologize, Nalini Mataji, your audio, please connect your audio and we'll come back for another one. Rishi Tanna, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, ma'am.
Hare Krishna.
Ma'am, please speak in Hindi.
This is an English class, Prabhu, so I'm glad. So thank you, hold on. Let's give another person a chance. Okay. Shifali Gupta, you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hare Krishna. Do you remember the
Hare Krishna Mataji? Yes, it's indecision, sin, and compassion, no enjoyment, and
family tradition.
I remember 3. Family tradition, yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna. My
Thank
pleasure.
you. So we're going to quickly do the recap associated with that. So he's, Arjuna is saying these are the different reasons that he's sharing that, there's no compassion. That he's fully compassionate. He is, he's such a true devotee. And the compassion is arising from the fact that he does not wish to kill his own kinsmen. And on the opposite side, who are there? It is his brothers, it is his teachers, it is his grandfather, and it are people that are all his relatives. It's very difficult to go and go on a war and fight some, like I think it's quite easy to go on a war and fight an unknown enemy, but it's very difficult when you have, your next to loved ones, when you have to stand against them. So the first reason was compassion, and Krishna is going to use knowledge or jnana to tell Arjuna that, you're just thinking about the materialistic body. We are not the body, but we are the soul. So he uses knowledge and refutes the point of compassion for Arjuna. Then Arjuna says, I don't want to, there's no enjoyment. Like, what is the purpose of this war? Because at the end of the war, everybody is going to die. And what is going to happen is I'm not going to have anybody to enjoy this with. So Krishna uses karma kand. It's a concept which says, you do an activity, and then what you do is you enjoy the fruits of the activity. So the easiest way that I can explain it is like, we go do a puja, we do a mannat, and we say, I'm going to do prayers for like 21 weeks. I don't want to have good marks. Or it's my child's birthday. I'm going to do an activity so that the child, lives a very successful life. So that's called karma kand. It's different than karma yoga, where we are doing an activity and we are surrendering the fruits of the activities to Krishna. So Krishna is saying, do an activity and enjoy. It is a holy war. If you lose, which is not going to happen, but if you lose, because it is a holy war, what is going to happen is you're going to reach the heaven, and you will live in heavenly planets, and you will enjoy. And if you lose in the battlefield, you'll go to the heavenly planet. And if you win, guess what? You and your brothers are going to, rule over the entire kingdoms, entire Earth planet. So where do you think there's no enjoyment? You're going to have enjoyment, irrespective of whether you win or whether you lose. Arjuna also talks about fear of sinful activities. He says very kindly to Krishna, saying, Krishna, I can't talk back to elders. They are object of my reverence. I can pray for them. I can die for them. But how do I kill them? That is such a sin. I cannot do that. So Krishna uses Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga is like using the knowledge, and Buddhi Yoga is also interchangeably used with devotional service or Bhakti Yoga. He's saying when you're doing a devotional activity, there is no sin involved in it. And we'll go over that in a little bit more detail as we go through the verses. At the end of one of the reasons that he gives us is like there's indecision. Towards the end of chapter 1, we see that he's really indecisive, saying he's a Kshatriya. I know this is my job to fight. I know, but when I'm coming here, I'm seeing them in presence and seeing my family, my friends, my relatives standing against me. I really am so overwhelmed with emotions that I cannot make a decision. Please help me, Lord, and help me, make me understand or give me information where this lamentation, this grief goes away from my heart and I can do what I'm supposed to do. So Arjuna, Krishna will tell him here is like, you are not you're not a normal individual. You have accomplished so much in your life. You are known for your determination. Use that determination and get up and fight. So Krishna also talks about a Sthitadhir Muni here. The Sthitadhir Muni is a person who is equipoised. And what do I mean by equipoised? Equipoised is a person who does not wander over whether it is the situation is good for him or the situation is not favorable for him. He is equipoised. He does not waver. So, try and become that person. And when you are in transcendental consciousness, you will have that ability to do it. He also talks about destruction of family dynasty that will be covered in 3.18. So this is the next chapter. He's saying that, one of the reasons for family traditions he had mentioned was if the elders in the family are killed, Krishna, what is going to happen is who's going to be there to guide us? It is not possible. Who's going to make the children religious? And if the children are not religious, the family dynasty is going to be broken. There's going to be a lot of unwanted children, and unwanted, the word that is used here, Varna Shankara, is reflecting unwanted population. And Varnashrama Dharma is a good population. So when there is so much irreligion prevalent in the society, there's going to be Varna Shankara, a lot of unwanted population. And from such unwanted population, unwanted leaders will arise. And if there are unwanted leaders, the entire society is not going to be doing well. So Krishna will tell Arjuna that, if you do not fight, you are such a great warrior. What is going to happen is you're going to set up a bad example. In the generations that are going to come forward, people are going to say, well, Arjuna was such a great warrior. And but when the time came for him to take a difficult decision, because he knew what his job was to get up and fight. He was a Kshatriya. However, what happened when the situation came, when he had to make a difficult decision, he just got up and he left. So do not do that. Do not do that, because you're a role model and you have to be able to take tough decisions, decisions which might not be comfortable for you, but it is something that has to be done. So do that and get up and fight. So here's where we are saying that, Krishna defeats Arjuna's arguments by using argument of compassion, by using jnana. And it is stated in these particular verses 2.11 to 2.13. Krishna uses karma kand to offset his question about there's not going to be any enjoyment. That is covered in verse 2.31 to 2.37. He uses buddhi yoga and to refute the sinful reactions. And then karma yoga, which we'll cover tomorrow, which talks about the destruction of family dynasty. So this is the first verse, which really changes the relationship between Arjuna and Krishna here. So Vibha, if I may please request you to chant this verse, please.
Yes, Mataji. Karpanya doshapahata svabhava prachami tvam dharma samuttachetah yachreyasya nischitam bruhi tanme siyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. You sing very beautifully. So Krishna is saying here, now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of this weakness of my heart. In this condition, I'm asking you, please tell me clearly what is best for me. I surrender unto you as a disciple and a soul surrendered unto me. Please instruct me. Now, this is such a beautiful way, Arjuna is such a great warrior. And he is so, he so knows his feelings. It is so beautifully said that, when he is coming into the situation where he's troubled, what is happening is he's able to stay out very clearly what he's feeling, because he is such a great warrior and he's so confused. He's saying, I cannot operate, I cannot function. I know this is not becoming of me, but please tell me. I'm so confused. Dharma samudha cheta basically means that I'm so confused. Please help me. I am surrendering myself onto you. I do not know how to proceed from here. And I'm requesting you to give me this knowledge. So in this particular verse, the relationship between Arjuna and Krishna changes, because the entire first chapter and up to 2.6 verse, Arjuna and Krishna are talking like friends. And what is happening is Krishna is, listening very patiently. He's saying, chalo, keep talking, tell me, pour everything out. As soon as he's giving a reason about, say, compassion or a sin, Krishna's letting him speak. He lets him speak till he's able to finish. And then what is happening is, what is Krishna doing? He's listening. So this is also a good way of showing or or saying that when, you know, somebody comes to us for a problem, do we preempt and say, you know, oh, I know what you're going to talk about, and then refuting it? You should let people understand what they are, or let them finish talking about what they're actually looking to say, and then give them the, you know, and be ready to give them information when they're ready to listen. So in this particular verse, Arjuna is now, has poured his heart out and he's ready to listen. And now Krishna will start speaking and giving him the different ways by which he will be able to accept the knowledge. So if you see here in the picture, it's highlighted, like, even though he's so overwhelmed, he's emotional, he is ready to listen, and Krishna is ready to give him the knowledge of how to overcome this lamentation in his heart. So we also understand, apologize, give me a second. We also, you know, we sometimes think that we have a set of people that say that, you know, I will believe Krishna, I will believe God when I see, let Krishna come in front of me. Let Krishna come in front of me, or let God come in front of me, and then I will believe what I'm seeing. So that concept actually works only when our vision is perfect, right? For example, I have an eyelid. Actually, everybody has an eyelid, right? But at what point of time have I ever seen my upper eyelid? Or let's say, you know, I think I have a brain, but I've never seen my brain. But does that mean that I don't have a brain? So this particular philosophy does not really work if our vision is clear. So this is a small project, and I'm going to request participants to raise their hand. There's no deeper meaning of this picture. It is really just a picture. So when I'm asking you, please quickly raise your hand, and then I'm going to unmute a few people and see if you can tell me. Let's see who I have. Srinath Kulkarni Prabhu, can you unmute yourself? Hare Krishna?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so you're seeing this picture on my screen, right, Prabhu?
Yes, I can.
So if I ask you quickly, tell me, what do you see? What will you tell me? What is this picture?
A rising sun, and there is a small house on the left-hand side of the corner.
Okay.
And there are lovely clouds.
Beautiful.
And the shadow of it, and the shadow of it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to go to the next version. Now I am going to use Jhansi Mataji. Can you unmute yourself? What do you see now, Mataji?
Deeper clouds with a tree, a beautiful tree.
Perfect. So since I have you there, I'm going to ask one more question. So what do you see now? Do you have a better vision of the tree?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Then let's pick up Kavita Mataji. You can unmute yourself.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now what do you see?
There is a parrot and it's eating a fruit. I think it's eating something. It has something on its beak.
Yeah, so it's eating something. It's eating a fruit. Thank you so much. So there will be more opportunities. I apologize, I can't go over each one of them. So here is there. So what is happening is in the first picture, when we saw the picture, it was, we had clouds. So if I was driving down a highway and in the distance I saw this image, that's my vision. So it's like, oh, there's a cloud, there is maybe possibly a mountain line, maybe there is a city skyline that I can see. I get down from the car and then just go closer and closer. And then I was like, oh, it might actually be not just cloud. It could be a lake. It could be a mountain. And then I go closer and then I see it's like, oh, it's a very beautiful place. There may be a few trees around there. And then as I go closer and closer, then I'm getting to see more details. So the reason why we do the small exercise is just to prove the fact that, you know, our vision is not perfect. So what we see, if I go through the concept of saying, if I see it, only then I will believe it. As I was kidding around, you know, I was talking about like everybody has a brain, but have I seen my own brain? Just because I don't see it, it doesn't mean it exists, right? It doesn't exist, right? So similarly, this is the way we understand Krishna, because the question had started with saying is like, who's Krishna? Now, everybody of us have an individual journey about how we reach Krishna, how we understand Krishna consciousness. And how do we reach that? We reach that based upon our level of surrender that we go to Krishna. So every individual's information or how we surrender onto Krishna is individualistic. There is no general rule about, oh, this is how everybody should be doing it. So the concept of Krishna or concept of the understanding of Krishna is basically based upon three different factors. We can understand Krishna as a energy, which is called the Brahman feature. But if I keep trying to understand, keep chanting and keep trying to understand Krishna more, we would realize that, you know, we are part and parcel of Krishna. And a portion, you know, Krishna exists in us in the form of Paramatma in our own bodies. So that is much more deeper understanding of Krishna. Or we can get to the stage where we understand that Krishna is, you know, just such a beautiful picture here. I don't think so I can ever get, I cannot take my eyes away when I'm looking at Krishna pictures. So this is the perfect understanding of the Bhagavan feature. Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead. He is a person. He's not an energy. He is not, you know, any particular concept of just Brahman feature. The real realization of a truly realized person is, you know, this is the perfect stage where we understand Krishna is a person. So that is the three levels by which people or devotees can understand Krishna, which is the Brahman feature, where we come to the understanding that there is Krishna or God is a power, it is an energy. A little bit more deeper understanding comes from the fact when we realize that, you know, I have a bit of Krishna in me. He is existing in me. He is guiding me in form of Paramatma. And then the final realization is when we understand that Krishna is a person. He is somebody that I can pray to, I can play with. We have different layers by which we can, you know, serve Krishna. There are 5 primary relationships that we share with Krishna. Actually, I think Anvaya Mataji is here. Mataji, are you here? Can you tell us about the 5 primary rasas in which we serve Krishna?
Yes, Mataji. The first rasa is Shantya rasa. It means the land, the river, or maybe the cow. So it is Shanta rasa. Krishna can be served in this way. Higher than Shanta rasa is Dasya rasa. It is the relation like a master and a servant, like Lord Hanuman and Prabhu Ramachandra. So that is the relation. The relation which is still higher than that is Sakhya. Sakhya Bhav, in which we can see Krishna and Arjun. They are friends. So it is the Sakhya Ras. Higher than Sakhya Ras is Vatsalya Ras. Vatsalya Ras is a relation between the parent and Krishna. So here Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they were the parents of Shri Krishna, and they were serving him very lovingly, taking care and protecting their child. And higher than Vatsalya Rasa is Madhurya Rasa, which is the transcendental love between Krishna and gopis, and out of all the gopis, it is Radharani who is the dearest of all to Krishna. So she is serving him in Madhurya Ras, which is the highest form of serving Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, Hare Krishna. So, as Anya Mataji beautifully explained, you know, we have those 5 levels by which or 5 different layers by which we can devote to Krishna. So, everybody's journey towards reaching Krishna consciousness is different. We reach or we pray to Krishna in different capacities. So now we're going to start, Krishna is going to start answering questions or refuting the points that Arjuna has made. Vibha, if I may please request you to chant 2.13. Thank you.
देहिनोऽस्मिन् यतः देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरा प्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति.
Thank you. So Krishna is saying, like, as the embodied soul is continually passing from this body from boyhood to youth to old age, and after the body deteriorates here, if you see here, it's, you know, we go through different stages, and then once the body can no longer hold the soul, it just transmigrates, and then and it continues. I apologize. And so he's saying that, you know, Arjuna, nothing is going to happen. You are thinking that you're going to be attacking the body of your grandfather or your teachers, but there was never a time, either in the past, the present, or the future, when either your grandfathers, all the kings that are out here, you, me, we always existed in the past, we are existing now, and we will exist in the future. So what he means by that is there is no destruction of the soul. The soul, Krishna, super soul, everybody has been there in the past. They will be there in the present, and they will be there in the future. So you really don't have any cause of lamentation. Now, you know, we keep hearing about, the body is growing it grows from an infant to child to become an adult, and then it grows. But, to try and realize it, does the body is actually growing? I don't believe so. Technically, I think the definition should be is we are changing. And what is the cause of the change is that the soul is determining that particular change. Because if the body was growing, is the human body like an elastic? It cannot just keep stretching. The body is changing. So the change is something that is consistent, and scientifically is also proven, right? Like in our body, whether it's your hair or your muscles or your skin, the dead cells fall off, new cells are created. So constantly it is changing. And the cause of that particular change is the soul. So the change is the name of the game. So do not worry about it. And you are not really going to be killing the soul, which is your grandfather. Nothing is going to happen to it. So it's very beautifully, sometimes I think about the way Krishna is answering Arjuna as I have a child, and when he was little, I used to be able to, think of different reasons. Acha, if this reason doesn't work, I'm going to use this reason. If this doesn't work, I'm going to use different reasons. So that's how Krishna is using different concepts. He uses knowledge. He uses, he uses karmakand. He's telling, like, he's using different tools that he has to try and educate Arjuna onto why he should not be getting confused, because he's a Kshatriya, he needs to fight, and he should just do his duty. So we come on to the next one, and as he's explaining it, Vibha, could you please read this particular verse, please?
Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayanti apo, na shoshayati marutha.
Thank you. So to prove his point again, he's saying that the soul can never be killed, because the soul was present in the past. It's present now, and it'll be present in the future. So there is really no way by which you can kill a soul. And to prove the point, he's explaining it a little bit more, saying the soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon. It cannot be burned, it cannot be moistened, and it cannot be withered by the wind. So it's very interesting to say why Krishna is using these different tools, because in the battle of Mahabharata, there were a lot of weapons. We don't know half of the technology. I would say not even half. We don't even know 0.1 of the technology that of the weapons that were existing during the battle of Mahabharata, because they were weapons which were made of water, they were weapons which were made by fire, they were weapons which were made by wind. Now, such powerful weapons also cannot kill the soul. So he's supplementing his argument by saying nothing is going to happen. There was never a time they did not exist. There was never a time I did not exist, or there was never a time that you did not exist, and that will continue. So do not worry about it. Get up and fight, is what he's giving him an explanation for. Then we also come to the fight, the point where Arjuna is saying that I'm not going to have any enjoyment. Krishna very clearly says, is like, what are you talking about? If you if you pass away in this holy war, you're going to enjoy heavenly kingdom, and you're going to have a very, very, very comfortable life in the heaven. You're going to enjoy the heavenly benefits. And guess what? If you win, you and your brothers are going to rule the entire earth planet. So where is this point where you're saying that there's not going to be any enjoyment? You will have it. So he uses karmakand. Again, karmakand is a philosophy where I do an activity and I enjoy the fruits of the activity. So he's using karmakand to explain to Arjuna, saying, there's going to be enjoyment. Whether you win or lose the war, you are going to see enjoyment here. He's also, so this is the verse that he did. Anvaya Mataji, would you like to chant this verse?
Yes, Mataji.
Please
Hare
go ahead.
Krishna. Yes. Hatvo va prapyasi sarvagam jitva va bhoksha se mahim tasmat uttishta kanteya yuddhaya krutanishchaya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So here's the verse which I was explaining it, saying, "O son of Kunti, either you'll be killed on the battlefield and attain heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdoms. Therefore, get up and fight with determination." Vibhav, can I request you to chant this one, please?
Yes, Mataji. Avachyavadamascha bahum vadishyanti tavahita nindantastava samarthyam tato dukkataram nukim.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So Krishna is using another tactic. He's telling him, your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Because, Arjuna is saying that I do not wish to fight. These are my next of kin and kin. But he's telling, Krishna comes back and tells him that, think about it. If you're going to run away from this war, are your enemies going to actually appreciate you? It's like, oh, thank God, the great Arjuna did not fight with us and he spared our life. Nope. What they're going to explain to you, or what they're going to be basically telling you, is like, he was a coward. He ran away from the battlefield. He saw our army and he ran away. And what is worse to a Kshatriya, whose job or prescribed duty is to fight, is to protect, is, it's what is more, I think, questioning a person's ability and their and their name, and defaming their name is a lot more painful than even, death. So do not do that. Get up and fight. I'm going to give chance to one and see if the devotees who were there yesterday, I explained the meaning of the word Kshatriya. It consisted of 2 words. So let's see if there are lots of raised hands. I'm not sure if they're raised hands from the previous ones, but Priya, can I ask you to unmute? Do you remember what it was? Okay, she unmuted herself. Jagdish Prabhu, you can unmute yourself. Hare Krishna. Okay. Please lower your hands if you have raised it for the previous session. Let's ask Akash Prabhu. You can unmute yourself?
Yes.
Do you remember the definition of what a Kshatriya was?
Yes, I know.
Okay. Please share.
It's we can break down it in two words. It's Shat and other is I
Trayate.
don't remember exactly.
That's okay. It's Trayate. What does it mean?
Yes, Shat means to hurt someone or like.
You're unmuted, but that's okay. Thank you. So Shat means hurt, and Trayate means a person who protects somebody from getting hurt. So that is what a Kshatriya is. And what is, him getting defamed is worse than death. That's what Krishna is telling him here is what could be more painful if people are defaming your name. So do not do that. Get up and fight is what he's telling him. So now we come to his next verse where he's going to talk about sin, that it is, sin to kill my elders. And we're going to be reading this verse. Anvaya Mataji, would you like to read this? Vibha, would you mind, please?
Yes, Mataji. Neha Bikramana Shosti Pratyavayo na vidyati swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat.
Thank you, Vibha. So in this one, he's talking about, the third reason of sin. And Krishna is going to refute the answer by saying that when an activity is performed for a devotional service, there is no sin involved in it. And the examples that we see in the pictures here are, let's see if I can have one more person quickly raise their hand. The picture that I'm pointing out here. Dhruvant Prabhu, can you please unmute and tell me, do you know who this personality is?
Yeah, ma'am.
Who's that?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Who's this person?
Ma'am, Dhruvant's mother, ma'am.
What's that?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Who's this person?
From Hyderabad, ma'am.
Hare Krishna, thank you. No, I'm asking in this picture, who is this? Do you know who this person is?
That is Krishna.
Okay, thank you.
Rama, Lakshmana.
And then who's this personality?
Garuda.
It's Vibhishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, the examples that we are sharing here is we're talking about activities that are done when you are doing a devotional service and that does not incur sin. So thinking about the concept of it, it's like Vibhishna left his elder brother, because he was being so unpious, and he came and joined the opposite party, which was Lord Rama. What could be more sin than that? Here is an example of Lord Hanuman when he went as a peace duta to Ravana. And the tradition is that you cannot kill the dutas. I apologize. Please unmute yourself if you're not participating. Sorry about that. So he sets fire to Lord Hanuman's tail, and Lord Hanuman, in order to teach them, burns down the entire Lanka. So here at this point of time, people, if we think about morally, was that correct? Who was at fault? It was Ravana. However, why did Lord Hanuman punish, the entire kingdom of Lanka? Was that actually correct? So we always, I think, have this dilemma between what is morality and what is spirituality, and a lot of time there's a very fine line between it. So morally, we are taught not to talk back to elders. Morally, we are asked not to go on like a, kill somebody as another individual. But there is a time and place for violence, even in spirituality. And this is what the examples that they're covering is when when an activity is right, it is right. And who gets to decide it? How do I know if my actions are correct? If I'm making a decision, it's not something that we should just mentally concoct ourselves. We generally refer to three verses or three sources. We say that, if I'm doing an activity and I want to confirmation if that is correct or not, it needs to be approved by Guru. It needs to be approved by sadhu, which is learned men, and then it needs to be approved by shastras. So guru, sadhu, and shastras, if they say that the activity is correct, then that activity is correct, irrespective of the fact whether it is moral or not. They were spiritually elevated people who are worshipped. So in India, every street corner has a Hanuman temple, even though the activity that he might have been done would have seemed morally incorrect, but he's worshipped. So get up and fight. There is no sin involved when you're doing a devotional activity. This is just a small example that Prabhupada shares in a lot of his lectures. There was a time when it was in an altar in front of the deities. There was a light lamp, and usually there's a lot of sweets and bhogas offered to it. So this hamster or mice or whatever you want to call it always was very fond of sweets. And one of the days, the sweet was right next, the bhoga plate was next to the altar, and the lamp was flickering. So when the lamp was flickering and then there was a sweet placed right there, what happens is the hamster, thinking that the lamp is some form of a cherry or a sweet, goes very close to it and unfortunately loses its life. Now, when there is, and because of the fire getting catch up on the body, the light lamps up. So Krishna thinks that, this individual, which is a living entity like a hamster, gave up its life so that my diya or was not, blowing off. He gives him liberation. So any small thing that we can do, Krishna is always looking to give us an opportunity to come back. We just need to, get into doing it, whether we do it intentionally or not. Krishna is always looking to help us and give us the path to go back to Krishna consciousness. So now we're going to go back and, this is going to be covered tomorrow in the final information about destruction of family dynasty. And he's giving himself an example to Arjuna saying, I am, yesterday I think I had shared that Krishna is Sarva Karna Karnam. He's the cause of all causes. And, but, I don't have to do any work, but I do it. I managed in my, when I was little, I managed the cows. I did all the activities because I am setting up an example. I'm setting up an example of what people should do so that other people follow me. If I did not perform these prescribed duties, the world would be put to a ruination. I would be the cause of creating Varna Shankara, which is unmodeled population, and I would therefore destroy. So even though I don't have to do it, I'm the cause of all causes. I am doing work. I'm not coming here and just sitting down and saying, okay, I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You do this, you do that, you do that. He's not doing it. He's doing a work. So he's setting up an example, and that is what you have to do. You're not a normal individual. You are somebody that people look up to. You're going to, Hare Krishna. You are going to be somebody that they are going to look up to. So please get up and fight. Do not be a role model of what not to do. So we come to Krishna is answering the question of indecision too. And he's going to say by using this particular verse. So Vibha, would you mind chanting this, please?
Yes, Mataji. व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धिरेका एकेहा कुरु नन्दना बहुसखा हि अनन्तश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनम्.
Hare Krishna. So Krishna is telling him is like, again, I'm repeating the point that, you are not a normal individual. You are such a great soul. You are known for your powers of determination, concentration. We see a few different examples. So let's see if I can give one more individual. Let's see who has raised their hands. If you have already spoken, please lower your hands, but I don't think so. Palash Prabhu, I think. You can unmute yourself. Palash Prabhu.
Hello.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Can you tell me what is happening in this picture?
In this picture, there's a boy who is try to just shoot an arrow, and
Okay.
there's a guru teaching him, like the guru is teaching him.
Okay,
like,
do you know who the personalities are?
I think the boy is Arjuna and the guru is
Dronacharya.
Dronacharya. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So this was a small incident in Gurukul where, Dronacharya was asking all the disciples to line up. He put a toy bird in a tree and said, the aim is to hit the toy bird's eye. And he calls each one at a time. So like Bhima would say, it's like, oh, I see it. I think I see the mango. I think if it's a mango tree, I can see the mangoes in it. So everybody looks at and describes different things that they see because the vision is so expanded. They have everything and everything that they're seeing out there. But when the time comes for Arjuna, because the goal was what? The goal was to hit the eye of the toy bird. So when Dronacharya asks him, it's like, what do you see? Arjuna says, I see the eye of the bird. And he tells him to shoot and he points it out. We also have another example, a few different examples where while in exile, when, he had to marry his wife, I think he was given an example like he had to shoot an arrow to a moving target in the sky, and the only person who was able to accomplish that was Arjuna. You have so much determination, you have so much concentration. Use that. Do not let your mind get distracted. What is your job? You are a Kshatriya. Your job is to protect. Your job is to get up and fight because it is when a Kshatriya is, the phrase that we use is in Kshatriya, when is forced or is asked to, is being challenged by somebody who's envious of them, a Kshatriya has, I would really request if you are not speaking, please mute yourself. So if a person is not, I apologize. So if a Kshatriya is challenged by somebody who is envious of him, in which in this case, the Kurus were envious of the Pandavas, they cannot refuse the challenge. They have to take up the challenge and they have to fight. So Krishna is saying, Ekehe Kuru Nandana, keep your determination, concentrate on what the job is. Your job is to fight this holy war. So get up and fight. Do not let distractions happen to you because you have that. You're a person that fought even Lord Shiva and you got the bow Pashvasastra that was awarded to you. You are such a staunch devotee. You are such a great personality. Do not let this, this lamentation or grief take over. Use that determination, get up and fight. So now we also in the verses Krishna is saying is like you need to be somebody like a Siddhadhir Muni. And who's that Siddhadhir Muni? The Siddhadhir Muni is the person who is equipoised, in I apologize, give me a minute. Who is equipoised and does not waver whether the situation is positive or whether the situation is negative. He just keeps going and doing what he's supposed to do. So Arjuna inquires, oh Krishna, a person who's so self-realized, who's so self-centered, who knows that what they need to do. What are the symptoms of this particular person who is so transcendently merged into you, into Krishna consciousness? How does he speak? What is his language? How does he talk? How does he walk? please help me understand how this all works. So this particular in the different symptoms, like he's asking about, what are the symptoms of this particular person, how does he speak, how does he sit, how does he walk. So Krishna answers these in these specific verses. And all these slides today, for sure, I think we've already shared the link, but you'll be able to, I'll go over how to look at these slides and get the information on it. So we go into verse 2.25 where he's going to be able to give answers. Vibha, can I ask you to please chant?
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmani eva tatmana tushta sthita pragnasta doshyati.
Hare Krishna. So Krishna or Arjuna says here, "Oh blessed Lord," Krishna says, "Oh blessed Lord, O Partha, when a man gives up the variety of sense desires which arise from mental concoction." So, our desire to wish something, the first point of that particular thing is our thought process. That's what it means by mental concoction. And when the mind finds satisfaction in just the self alone, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. This is what is my constitutional position? So our constitutional position is we are a soul, and the soul's primary job is to serve Krishna. When I come to that particular understanding, that particular person will be in pure transcendental consciousness. An example that is shared here is about Prahlad Maharaj. There were so many tortures that he had to go through on a daily basis. But Prahlad Maharaj was very equipoised. He just continued to believe in Lord Vishnu, pray to him, because that is what his job was. He was son of a demon, but still prayed. He used to say, it was the same thing that he said to his dad, is like, yes, you are my father. However, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Lord Vishnu. I am going to be praying to it. His dad, his own father, did different tortures. He was put into fire. He was killed with different weapons, but he was equipoised. He was determined. He just he was in constant prayers, and that is how the symptom of a person looks like. We can also hear, the example is of Srila Prabhupada. At the age of, I think we were sharing yesterday, he was 69, 70, when he took this journey of fulfilling a promise that he had done to his own Guru Maharaj, that his Guru Maharaj had asked him, please, you are a very learned person, you speak English beautifully, go and spread Krishna consciousness in the Western world. So at age 70, when we all think that, oh, that is a retirement age, I'm going to sit at home, I'm going to have my cup of coffee and everything like that, he took the journey. He took a journey on a cargo ship, not a passenger ship, a cargo ship. And during this journey, unfortunately, he did have, he had 2 heart attacks, but he never gave up. He was determined. He knew what he had to do. There was nobody out there who was waiting to, welcome him with open arms, but by himself, with the passion that he had, with the determination he had. His thought process was one thing, that I have to spread Krishna consciousness in the entire world in whatever capacity I can. And it was that determination that spread like wildfire. And now Krishna consciousness is basically there in every continent that's out there, thanks to all the things that Srila Prabhupada has done. So these are examples that we can, look up to and follow. So we have to take examples. We have to take shelter of our acharyas, of our senior devotees, and then we can get onto this. So we also go to the next steps of, how does the mind get distracted? So that's what will be covered in the next few verses. Vibha, could you please chant this for me?
Yes, Mataji. Dhyayato vinayan puvaso saigasthenupajayate saigat saijayate kamo kamat krodho bijayate.
So the next 2 verses you're going to be seeing is like, there is a very nice way, Krishna is explaining the sequence of how a person falls down. He's saying that, the concept of getting attached to something. first starts from the mind. So it's just an example, beautiful painting that is given is when a young boy or a young girl look at each other, you know, the concept of is like, oh, I really want them, I want to be with them, comes with the contemplation, the thought process. That's the beginning of it. The thought process then leads to attachment, saying leads to attachment between two individuals, which could then lead to lust. Lust could then lead to anger, and from anger we will be looking into the different words. So he's saying while contemplating the objects of senses, so in this case the boy is the object of the girl is the object of the boy's senses. So it starts with the thought. So if we are able to just cut the thought there itself, when we are thinking of doing something that for our own senses, for our own enjoyment, that would be the key place to put a stop to it. It is easier said than done. It is something that we all have to practice. And by Krishna's mercy, at some point of time, you know, we will be able to get that. So he's very just clearly explaining like how the process works. While contemplating the objects of senses, a person develops attachment. From the attachment develops lust. From lust, anger arises. And then from anger, complete delusion arises. From delusion, bewilderment of memory. And when memory is bewildered, what happens? Intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, a person falls down into material pool. Vibha, would you mind chanting this one?
Yes, Mataji. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibrama, smriti bhramsat buddhina, so buddhina sat pranashyati.
So I'm going to show a particular, the next few slides, which will give you the combination of both 2.62 and 2.63, where Krishna is explaining very beautifully, like how do we get distracted? How do we fall down from what we are experiencing? So it starts with the objects of senses. You know, I gave you the example of the boy and girl, or think about it is like, you know, how do we manage our particular time? I am also a huge Indian cricket fan. So let's say if I give you that example, the object of senses is a cricket match. It's a one-day match or it's a 2020 match. That is my object of senses. I'm really attached to it. So that's the example that because I'm attached, because of that, that's my object, right? That is my constant, that is my distraction. So what I'm doing, I'm getting attached to it. From attachment, I have the lust, a lust will come. It's like, no, I have to do. So that the lust develops. Now, if I may say, lust is not just bodily conceptions of what we can see. I'm going to ask one person quickly to raise their hands. Again, I'm not sure if they raised hands from previously. Anybody that has not spoken, let's say Suraksha, please, Hare Krishna. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna. So if I had to ask you, define
Hare
love.
Krishna, ma'am.
Hare Krishna. If I had to ask you to define
Lust is some.
Go ahead.
Okay, Hare Krishna, ma'am. Lust is something you very much greedy about, that you need so much of that you can't see anything else from that. So I can say the lust is that.
And what is love?
Love is something you attach within, but you can see you are into that person and you will see the good for him, good for them, and everything is here and there. You will see each and everything in love, but in lust you see only the person.
Thank you so much for sharing. Let's give one more chance. Ujjwal, Hare Krishna, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hare Krishna. So if I had to ask you if you can explain the difference between lust and love, what would you say?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Basically, I was reading a few other verses as well, and I was just going on to this topic just recently about lust and love. Is with lust is that anything that's material is lust, and it with lust basically anything that begins will have an end, and that's lust. So love is something that doesn't have a beginning and an end.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's a lovely definition. So, Hare Krishna. Yeah, there was a beautiful definition that I apologize for not remembering the reference,
Mataji,
but
can I answer?
Oh, please go ahead, Vibha.
Mataji, so basically, lust is the biggest enemy of human as it engages one in the sinful activities and also degrades himself. Whereas Krishna once says that in love, do everything you have to do, but not with greed, not with ego, not with lust, not with envy, but with love, compassion, humility, and devotion.
Hare Krishna, that is a beautiful definition. You know, if I have to explain it simply, that I really love the definition, and I apologize, I'm not remembering the reference where I read that. This is from one of the classes that I attended from my own teacher. She had once defined lust as an activity that does not involve Krishna. And any activity that I do that involves Krishna is love. And I was like, wow, that is such a simple definition, because we are not going into the materialistic aspect of what just lust is. It's nothing. So any activity that does not involve Krishna is lust, and any activity that involves Krishna is love. That's a simple definition I really, really liked, and that made a lot more sense for me personally. So I just wanted to share that. So coming back to it, so, you know, we were looking at the sequence. So objects of senses causes us attachment. Attachment leads to lust. Lust leads to anger. Anger leads to delusion. Delusion leads to bewilderment of memory. Bewilderment of memory leads us to loss of intelligence, and to loss of intelligence, a person falls down. So the root cause, if we go back, objects of senses, contemplation, that is where the problem starts with. So if we can train our mind, I do understand that it's an easier topic than done, but if we can control that urge, if we can control the urge by looking at something or experiencing something which is more better, then we will not get down into this trap. So this is just a quick summary of what we did, which we had shared before. Arjuna's giving different reasons of why not to fight, and Krishna is slashing them one by one. So Arjuna says, you know, I'm feeling compassion for them. Krishna addresses, nope, your compassion is directed to the long individual. You are directing your compassion to the body. He uses knowledge and he says your compassion should be towards the soul. We are not the body and the soul. There is never a time in the past, present, or future that all these people that are here in the battlefield never existed. They're existing now, and they will exist in the future. So you should not, you're directing your compassion into the wrong place. So get up and fight. Arjuna says there's no enjoyment. Krishna addresses by using karmakand, saying, what are you talking about? You win the war. You have the entire planet Earth to rule. If you lose, you're going to reach heaven, because this is a holy war, and anybody that dies in the holy war will reach heavenly planets. So your argument is incorrect there. He talks about fear of sinful activities, because it's sin to kill elders, it's sin to kill his teachers, sin to kill his own family members. And Krishna using Buddhi Yoga, or Buddhi Yoga and Bhakti Yoga are used interchangeably. He uses Buddhi Yoga by telling there is no sin involved when you're doing a devotional activity, get up and fight. He tells him about, Arjuna is talking about his indecision, and Krishna is saying, you know, do have a determination. Ekehe Kuru Nandana. Use your determination. You're not any ordinary individual. You are known for your determination and concentration skills. Use that. Use that. Get up and fight. We also hear about how a Sthitadhir Muni should be. Sthitadhir Muni is a person who's in pure transcendental consciousness. He's equipoised. He doesn't get disturbed. Arjuna asked him, it's like, you know, what are the symptoms of this person? How does this person walk? How does he talk? How does he speak? Please let me know, because then I will maybe get some more information and I will use that to get up and fight. And then the final reason is the destruction of family dynasty, which will be covered tomorrow from verse 3.18 to 26. and he tells them is, you know, he gives his own personal example. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but I work, you know, I manage the cows, I protected my people. It's not something that I needed to do, but I did because I need to set up an example. So you are such a renowned person. You are going to be a person who's going to be a role model. Do not make an example of yourself in a negative way. People look up to you. Generations that are going to follow, if you leave this war, what is going to happen is people are going to say, well, such a great devotee, such a great warrior, when the time came for him to, you know, take a tough decision, take a tough call, he left. So do not do that. Be a role model. You need to be a person who creates a good role model for a good set of population, which is called Varnashrama Dharma, rather than a cause of Varna Shankara, which is unwanted population. So that is a quick summary of what we did. And I apologize for, you know, all the trouble that was happening yesterday. Unfortunately, thanks to Krishna, we had more than about, I think, 40,000 registrations, and the last 15, I think, came on the last day. So the server did crash. We are very thankful for all the patience that you have, you know, exerted. I have a few kind requests. This entire program that is run by just pure devotees. So as devotees go through the process of learning, coming into this 18-day class, as well as going on to, you know, the detailed sessions, they really find a lot of value. I was one such person. My journey with ISKCON Mangaluru began in September of 2019. Anything and everything that I'm able to share with you is something that I have learned from these classes. So I apologize for any mistakes that I make. I speak a little fast. I think I do believe it. I think I tried to do my best of slowing down. I'm not used to taking classes of, today we had like 350 devotees. So any mistakes I have made, I really, really apologize. It is just my small way of giving back to what I have learned in these classes. The quiz link is shared in all the groups. Please make a login on this particular on the particular website, and then any questions that we can't address, please email it to ugenglish20@gmail.com. Once the chat is closed, these links will be shared again, and you can put questions there and we'll get back to you. The other small request that I have is there are about 14 WhatsApp groups with 200 plus individuals. We are also all I'm not giving an excuse, but I really appreciate if we can put questions to the group, because yesterday we had about 800 messages and I had about, I think, 150 WhatsApp messages. It is practically impossible for me to respond to those messages. So please, if you can put it in the group, we have a great bunch of admins who can help you get answers. Please be patient in this journey and we will help you go through the entire 18-day process. So I am going to start taking questions now. Let me just stop this screen share.
Mataji, can I enable the chat?
Sure, go ahead. So if there is any questions, we're going to start with, if somebody does not have a question and they've raised questions before, please, you can lower your hands. Okay, so for questions, let's see. Sakshi Thanda, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, no, I can just appreciate it. Yeah, Hare Krishna. I really like the answer, Lord, that you gave. That anything where Krishna is not there is lust.
Thank you.
I really found it very touching. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Shreya Srivastav, please, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I want to ask that at a place you just said that in a war, if anybody dies, they are going to get heaven only, because it is a dharma yudh.
Mm-hmm.
So this side, like Guru's side, was not, we can say, having good intentions while fighting. So even they die, they go to heaven, or I know that the Dhritarashtra used to go for heaven only. So are they also going to heaven? So
This
why
is,
would they go?
yeah, so think about it, Mataji, like how many people, I have personally, I think, asked this question, and the answer that I have received is, think about it, like how much pious activity, yes, in this current birth that they had, they became unpious, but how much of a pious activity they might have had to do for them to come in front of Krishna. So, they must have done something right, and this entire arrangement is by Krishna. He knew he arranged this war, and because it was a holy war, whether it was the Kurus or the Pandavas, it was already predetermined that they would be going to the heaven. So that is the answer that I can give you, because it was something that was already predetermined, because it's a holy war. And that's what Krishna is saying, right? Irrespective of whether you win or lose, you are going to reach the heavenly planet. So please get up and fight.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
One second. So I have Lakshmi Mataji, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. See, I agree with most of. Agree means I can understand when other points of Krishna, when he says like you have to do your duty. Then I think you'll be covering it later. That you have to do a duty without expecting the fruit of it, and etc. But during Mahabharata time, Arjuna didn't have a choice. They exhausted all the reasons not to fight. So finally they're in the stage. So I can understand why Krishna pushed Arjuna to go ahead with the war. How relevant is that situation in today's world? Because I don't support violence. Like how relevant it is, that advice of war in today's world?
In today's world, so we have to just use it as a reference point. So in today's example, I can say is like, how do I answer this question? So if I can attempt to, you've heard about like capital punishment. So if there is a mass murderer and the judge, there's a time and place for violence. If I may say, like, you just cannot get up and execute violence against different people. We were saying that it is something that has to be prescribed and authorized by sadhu, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So we have to take references from them. It should not be something that we think in our mind is like, no, ye theek hai, so then I can go ahead and do that. So it needs to be approved. Violence has to be approved in certain contexts. And if Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra are saying that it is right, then violence does have its place. Whether we believe it is correct or not is unfortunately, our concept is materially concluded by what we think, which is a similar thing as what Arjuna is feeling there. He is emoting most of our emotions. Now in day-to-day life, there are situations where I have to speak up. I have to maybe go against a superior authority, but how am I going about it? Am I putting valid reasons? Am I using resources to say, these are the references that I'm using, and that is why I'm standing against you, is something that we have to follow. So there's not a perfect answer to this, Mataji, but the example that I could think of is if there's a mass murder, or a judge is, sanctioning a capital punishment or hang till death or whichever form it might be. But is he executing a sin there? Not really. It is his job. That's what he's executing. And he does not have, a sin attached to that. I'm not sure if I really answered that question, but did that give you at least like a reference point?
Yeah, somewhat, yeah. But I was thinking like, I'm not even a beginner. But from whatever I know, a little bit of Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata, like I think in today's reference, like maybe he's not suggesting violence. Like we cannot take it as a thing. But in day-to-day life, what we face, whatever the task or whatever, that we have to face it with boldness or strength, something like that. But definitely not violence. I wouldn't
No, nobody's. we're not preaching is like get up and go fight because you think it is there. No, Mataji, we're just using that as a reference point to, it's a great communication
I
between
get
two
it.
people.
Sorry to interrupt. I get it. But in the wider audience, and
Uh-huh.
especially if you go into the social media, everybody says, Bhagavad Gita is supporting violence. So that I'm not able to digest. I wanted to express it in a way I'm not able to. In my small brain, I can think maybe Krishna said not necessarily violent, not necessarily war at all the time. There are
No.
wars which happens in our mind. There are wars which happens in our day-to-day life with our relative, with whatever the circumstances that we come across. There you have to face, I don't know the correct words to put, you fill in, maybe that,
Yeah.
in today's world. But because given, if you take in a wider, bigger context, with the nuclear power and all that, violence and war is not the answer at all.
Correct, Mataji.
Because
So,
for
you know,
dharmic religion, the dharmic religion, I don't even call it Hindu. I said this dharmic religion is set apart from everything else because we have to give a chance for peace, love, whatever.
you
I'm sorry,
you
I'm taking.
no,
There are many people.
your understanding is perfect, Mataji. So you are a believer. You seem to be a devotee. Let's just work on ourselves. And when you are so knowledgeable, people will get influenced over it. Don't worry about people who are not at your level of understanding, if I may say so. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Mataji, the question that Lakshmi Mataji just asked now, there is a similar example given by a devotee. I just got a chat.
Sure.
Military defending a country against attacks, Indian army constantly defending its border against Chinese incursions. Is this a right example?
It is a right example in terms of what Arjuna is like. That is their prescribed duty. They have to protect, and they're doing it. I don't believe that was an example Mataji was asking. She understands the concept, but she is just saying that how to give examples for people who are saying that Bhagavad Gita talks about language. But thank you, Vibha. Mridula Mataji, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, you were saying that, Hare Krishna, you said about the soul that it's neither destroyed, right? It lives forever. So is that something, is that something that is, again, the current situation? Are we all, were we all there in years ago, and are we going to be existing years later as well? Is that what you are meaning to say? And does this apply to us?
We are living entities, Mataji. Our concept of soul is, we only think about like Atma and all that stuff in the movies and stuff like that. No, every living entity, whether it's a grassroot, whether it is a tiny grass, whether it's a huge banyan tree, whether it is animals, whether we are human beings, we are all souls. And it is in the human form. When we are in the human form, our soul at that particular stage, the soul has the ability to explore, or say is like, what is my job? Like they can question and go into different things. So every living entity that is out there, whether it's the smallest of the microbes to the human being, we are all souls. So that's how Krishna is saying that we are all living entities. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We all were with Krishna at some point of time, and because our heart desired, or the soul desired for something, whether it was watching TV or watching this and that, we have come into this Maya world, and we are under the influence of Maya. So if I may go a little deeper, and I don't know if that is required here, but since you asked, sorry, hold on 1 second. So when we say that we are the soul and part and parcel of Krishna, the question could also be asked as like, why did we forget what our job is? As a soul, the primary constitutional position of the soul is to always remember Krishna. But we forget. I don't remember Krishna. Why? Because we are under Krishna has 3 potencies. Krishna has an Antaranga potency, which is his internal energy, which is called Yoga Maya. And Yoga Maya helps us understand or always remember Krishna. There's an external potency of Krishna, which is called his Bahiranga Shakti, which is Mahamaya, which is the job of Mahamaya is it makes us forget Krishna. That's why we take a birth and we come into this material life. And then there's also Tatha Shakti, which is Tatha basically means like a seashore. You know, in the seashore, if you go in a beach, there is sometimes a land which is underwater, and there's sometimes land which is not underwater. So he gives us the independence. He really gives us the independence to say, you know, whether you want to go enjoy material benefits or you want to come back to me. He's giving us the independence. We just have to pick up the right choice, pick up the mantra and pick up and try and do what we can. Not sure if I answered the question, but that's what I was thinking. Did I answer your question, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. It's, I mean, again, I'm very child in this. I'm just starting to listen to Bhagavad Gita. So I think every answer is great. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I think Palash Prabhu you already asked, but let's see if you have an additional question. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Like you used a word called equipoise many times today in today's session. So what's the meaning of the word? I can exactly understand.
Sure, it's just a word that means that you know, or if I have to use a simpler word, a person who's balanced, a person who does not get very overwhelmed when a situation is bad, or he doesn't get overexcited when things go right for him. So he's a balanced person, equipoised. It's like a balance beam, you know, where you don't get disturbed by sadness and you don't get too overjoyed with goodness, because you understand that you know, there's it's like a changing season. You know, we have winter, we have summer, the seasons keep changing. So if you have you know, any happiness, sometimes you will get grief. So it's a cycle. You understand that, and you just take life as it goes and you don't get disturbed by it. That is what an equipoised person means.
Okay, so I have another question. So what do you mean by objects of senses?
So I was you know, when we were going through the screen, Mataji, where it says the objects of senses. I think the example that I gave is I personally, before coming onto Bhagavad Gita, is like a huge cricket fan, right? Though then ballet, I will sit up as like, okay, let me clear up my schedule and I'll sit up and watch. So a cricket match in this example is the object of my senses. Or if a boy and girl were meeting, they are objects of senses to each other. And from that is where I start thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to get attached to. So something that could, if I may say so, get you distracted, it's an object of sense. Because I'm using my senses, I'm seeing visually and I'm getting attached or attracted to them. That is what an object of senses means.
Okay, so I want to say something. You've asked a question, what's the difference between lust and love? So according to me, can I say the answer?
Sure,
according to
go ahead.
me, what I thought? So according to me, lust is anything like the desire to have anything. Like we strongly means we only want that thing. But love is not like that. Love is like we care for someone. Like even if we don't get that thing, but we care for it. We just want its existence, or just care for me, or we just can do anything for that object. But the lust is not that. It's only sees the it's only greed. It's not for our individual pleasure.
That's your realization, ma'am. It was just something I was sharing just because it really resonated with me, the definition that I heard, so I wanted to share it out. So your definition is pretty amazing too. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Manoj Pandey Prabhu, and Vibha will be taking up the chats. We'll take for, what time is it right now? Yeah, we should still be able to do it. I'll take up the raised hands and then we'll go the chats at the end.
Mataji. Yes.
Manoj Pandey Prabhu, please go ahead with your question.
Jai Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I just wanted to add on what you said, that there is a story coming to the first topic, that how we should fight or not. There is one word that is coming in Gita, Yuddhaya Kritnishcha, that either we are fighting inside or outside. It is all about the fight that Krishna is guiding us.
Correct.
That we need to fight, and what is right and wrong was well defined by you in the other verses. Adding to that, there is a story, and the second point was about lust and love. There is a beautiful story in Krishna life that whomever he met, either it was male, female, or even in the woods, the trees and the plants, everybody was told that Krishna was loving him the most. So the definition can be one line, it can be said that lust is always exclusive, where Krishna consciousness and love is always inclusive. It includes everything that is created by the Creator.
That's a lovely definition, Prabhu.
So that's it that I wanted to contribute it.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Hare Krishna. I think it's your phone, but Redmi, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, the one more thing I want to add that someone asked a question about that Gita promotes
I'm sorry,
but
Prabhu,
I
your
have to
voice is
clarify
breaking.
that, I'm audible. Am I audible?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Someone asked a question that raised the point that Bhagavad Gita promotes the Vas, but I have to clarify that Bhagavad Gita does not promote the Vas because at that time there is a need, extreme need to do a Vas because at that time adharma rises upon the dharma. So therefore, Bhagavan Krishna give advice to Arjun to do a Vas. And in today's life, we don't have fight with violence with anyone or somebody. We have to just keep our dharma and keep karma at our level.
Thank you for sharing, Prabhu. And I apologize. Please, but try and if you're signing in tomorrow, to try and connect your audio. You're breaking off. But I don't think so. Mataji said she was just sharing that Bhagavad Gita. A lot of people say that Bhagavad Gita promotes violence, but that is not true, and that is what your point is too. So thank you so much for sharing. Vani Prasad Prabhu, please unmute yourself. I can't hear you, Prabhu. I can see you talking. I can't hear you. You are unmuted. I am so sorry, Prabhu. I can't hear you. If you might check your audio setting, I will come back to you, Prabhu. Please check your audio setting. Or you can type it in for some reason. If you can't, type it up in your chat. Let's see. Puja Mataji, please go ahead, unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The doubt that I had is, so basically if you are in a state of dilemma while taking a decision, so how is it that you actually make a decision, and actually once you made the decision, how do you continue to stick to it is my question.
So this is a very general question. So is there any specific thing in the nature? So, okay, I won't put you on the spot here. So how do you make the right decision? So I can't give you a personal opinion or a personal answer for this, Mataji. So I will share something about, we all don't have answers to all our questions. So we usually should have a guru that we refer back to, right? And and when I say a guru is not somebody that you find in every street corner that's out there. So that is not a guru definition. So in the Shastras, and again, I'm just quoting you the principles, I have personally learned that there are 4 types of gurus. So the first guru is Chaitya Guru, which is the guru in your heart, which is the Paramatma. Your heart knows what is right, what is wrong. So you can refer to that. Sometimes we also call, there's a Padapradaksha Guru. An example could be Padapradaksha Guru is somebody that shows you the way. You have come into this class, right? So if I may ask, did you get a link from somebody? How did you register for this session?
Yes, I actually, someone had put it as a status update. So I just enrolled for it, and that is someone whom I was associated with, and it was for a meditation class. So he was my teacher there.
Perfect. So he's your Padapadaksha Guru. So, that is somebody that showed you the way, whether it was directly or indirectly. So that's kind of like a Padapadaksha Guru. Then we also have a Siksha Guru. Siksha Guru is somebody who teaches you. And then there is Diksha Guru. Diksha Guru is the important one because you can have multiple Siksha Gurus where you can get information from. But Diksha Guru is a person who initiates you, who connects you to the God. So now how do I go about finding that guru, right? So that's another great question. I've given you the theory. How's the practical example? It's something Krishna shares, or Prabhupada writes very beautifully in the verses. For the explanation, he says that our heart should desire that we find a guru. And how does the heart desire? As we'll be learning in the next few chapters, start chanting, and that will show you who the person is. And before you accept somebody as a guru, even if they are highly devoted individuals, we tell that associate with them, because you will have to see, is this person's achar and vichar same, like, what they preach and what they follow or what they practice, is it one and the same? And once you're convinced that they are there, then, they can help you be in association of devotees, chant the Hare Krishna, Hare Maha Mantra, and you will do it. So, I can give you an example. Vibha and Anvaya Mataji, who are my co-hosts here, are so lovely individuals. Vibha is, I think, Vibha, you're in 9th standard, right, Vibha? Vibha?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so she's a 9th standard student. Like, I am in so much awe of her. You have no idea. I have never met Vibha. We have all just connected through this thing, and she chants so beautifully. I struggle. Like, I was like, mera kuch nahi ho sakta. Like, I can never understand this. Bhagavad Gita is how I started, and Krishna has given me a way where, bichara, you are listening to me. But it's something that you go through personally, and the only thing that I have changed in my life is I started chanting. And then I to share, to get off the topic, but that's the only personal reference I can give you is I was a person, I'm a working individual. I have a 13-year-old, I have a husband, and like just every individual that's out here now, you work and you take time and you're stressed. So I had the capacity of watching TV till 12 o'clock and then midnight. I'm not ashamed to say it, I did. And when I came into these classes, I found something a lot more valuable. It's something that I learned, and I've not changed much. The only thing I have added to my life is I've started chanting, and nothing like close to Vibha, but I have memorized 20 verses. I thought it was something that I thought I could not do. And memorization or pronunciation is not, should not be stopping you, should not be, read the purports, read the different Prabhupada books, and it lets us like, oh, this is lovely, and you will find practical examples. So it's not the answer you're looking for, Mataji, but I think the key is chanting, and it will show you the way for what you're looking at.
Sure. Thank you so much. I think I did get an idea of how I should go about the dilemmas, and thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Keep chanting, Mataji. You'll find a way. Hare Krishna.
Sure.
We'll take questions for 2 more minutes, and then I'll just have to answer the questions in the chat. Rajshri Mataji, please go ahead.
Hello.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Oh, I think there are a lot of people. Hare Krishna. Vikas Prabhu, I will come back to you in a minute. Rajshri Mataji, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Like, earlier, like Krishna had said that the souls cannot be cut into pieces or cannot be burnt in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know, like, if a person has an unnatural death, what would be it?
That's the materialist body, Mataji. So, a soul that has unfulfilled desires might not get another body. It might just be in a subtle body, which generally I think we call it as a ghost. So, or in the concept of there. So, what they have to do is that's how the elders and the family come into really, I don't know if you follow the protocol, but generally I'm from South India, and I think a lot of North Indians do that too. They offer the Shraddh, Bhoga and everything like that. And then hopefully when that is offered to them, the Krishna Prasad is offered to them, they get rid of their imprints and they'll get a body. But generally, a person who is in Krishna consciousness or who's chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, they don't even come in, Yamraj does not even come in front of them. As soon as the body, the soul leaves the body, they get another body.
Yeah, thank you. And the other thing is like you were telling me about the Diksha. Yeah. So for that, like once we start reciting the slokas, I've heard that we have to get superiors. What to say? You should be guided by a superior or an acharya. Is it true?
To chant the shlokas, Mataji?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so, Mataji. Anybody can chant the shlokas. You're talking about chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You don't have to be initiated to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You can chant, you can read the shlokas. Don't need to be initiated for it.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Vikas Prabhu, I think you were next. I apologize. Go ahead with your question.
Thank you, madam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I have one doubt. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mataji, as we say, this whole world is one. As we say, whole world is one, and we as we Hindus believes in Hinduism only. Before Mahabharata and Ramana, what was the world? Different countries have their different beliefs. It is a myth or reality? Someone say it is myth. Someone say it is reality.
So Hinduism is, that's just a religion, Prabhu. So when the world started, we were all one particular individuals. We were all souls. It was as and when we came into Maya, we had different religions, we had different continents and stuff like that. But that we are all living entity, as I shared with you, are individual souls, and the job of a soul is to be in constitutional position of the soul is to constantly remember Krishna. The different religions, it's not like whether one religion is bigger or the other. There was no religion per se. Everybody was doing their dharma. They were executing what their prescribed duty was, and it was varnashrama. This is what the good population causes, which was basically there were 4 level of players out there, or people. There were brahmanas. What is my constitutional disposition? What is my constitutional disposition? I like to read scriptures, then I'm a brahmana. If I am a person who wants to be executing in activities and protecting people, that is a kshatriya. If I'm good at business, if I'm good at cattle raising, then I'm a vaishya. And if I only want to work and serve, that is a sorry, where was the vaishya? That's your Shudra. So it is not about in which family you're born into. It was just the constitutional, what are you good at? That determined whether you were a Brahmana, Shudra, Vaishya, or a Kshatriya. So all this caste system, different countries and stuff like that just came because people became greedy. People wanted to call it as like my country and this. So it was not like that before. Before it was just based upon varnashrama dharma about what it was.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Vibha, can we actually Oppo A5S. Hare Krishna. What is your question? Oppo, do you, I apologize, I'm not sure who that is.
Prabhuji, can you please unmute yourself?
That's okay.
Mataji, Divya Mataji has raised her hand.
Oh,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ma'am, I always had one question in my mind, like, and you actually gave an answer today. I was
Okay.
always thinking, like, I was always thinking, like, just looking at the news, like Chinese, just taking, just as an example, India and Pakistan. People for Pakistan, they want to prove their, just as an example. I'm not being any nationalist or anything over here, just as the name. People in India wants to be like they fight, and we call we call them as traitors, like they're all terrorists if they come, and the same happens in their country also. And I always used to think, like, so which is the correct one? Who is correct over here? And how do you say if something is correct or if something is right? And when you told today, it is like, it's not about violence, it's not about non-violence, it's the correct thing is approved only in the three things, that is Shastra and
Guru Sadhu Shastra.
Guru Sadhu Shastra. I actually felt like, yes.
Thank you for, indirectly answering a question that you had, but thank you so much for sharing your appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vibha, is there any questions in the chat that we haven't answered?
Yes, Mataji.
Go ahead.
So there is a question from Mridula Jaikrishna Mataji, I guess. Is Radha and Rukmini the same? Can I answer this, Mataji?
Go ahead. And actually, you can answer this question, Vibha, but then if you're picking up a question, just make sure that they're here, because let's not pick up questions if they're not there. That's okay. You can answer the question because there are the devotees. They can answer that.
Okay, so basically Radha and Rukmini both were the incarnation of goddess Lakshmi, and also they were the favorite of Krishna. So Krishna believed that they both are the same, and that is the reason why Krishna married Rukmini. So they both are the same because they are the incarnation of goddess Lakshmi.
Thank you. Is there any other question?
Yes, Mataji. Tyaktva by Lakshmi, Mataji, I'll just check whether she's there.
Sure, and then you can stop the recording, I think, right? Thank you.
Mataji, have stopped the recording long time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lakshmi Mataji, she
Yeah,
has asked for Tyaktva Jivita means what?
Do you want to take a shot at it?
Okay, Mataji.
Go ahead.
So Tyaktva Jivita means prepare to risk life.
So Lakshmi Mataji, was it Lakshmi Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Lakshmi Vanchi Reddy Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
So Lakshmi Mataji, as Vibha beautifully explained, Takta Jivita it is a word that Duryodhana is, when he's talking to his teacher, he says that, all these people, I have Bhishma Maharaj, I have you, I have all the lovely teachers that have taught me, I have my friends, they're all here and they're all prepared to die. So ready to give their life is what Takta Jivita means. And indirectly what he's saying is they're all prepared to die. They're all going to die. So that's what it means. And that's a sign that, if all the people in the opposite party die, his own people die, then he's not going to win the war. Did that answer that question, Mataji? You're unmuted.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Is there anything?
There is one more. There are a few more by Rahini Mataji. I'll just, Is she there, Mataji?
Yeah. Go ahead, ask the question and I can.
Yes. So what are the wanted population called, similar to how the unwanted population are called Varna Shankaras?
Sure. Rani Mataji, you can unmute.
Yes.
So, we talked about the unwanted population. And when we say unwanted population, you just have to understand the reference behind it. We were saying that, Arjuna is saying that the family traditions are going to be broken, and how they're going to be broken is elders in the family. If elders in the family we kill the elders in the family, they're not going to be anybody who's going to show us the way, who's going to show the ways of reaching spirituality. And if the elders are not there, kids in the family or the women in the family can get polluted. They can get distracted and lead to children which are out of wedlock, for example, and those children are not guided properly. And if a child is not guarded properly, they can very possibly get into bad habits. And if such huge population is increasing, that is called that is what he means by it. That's what he means by calling unwanted population. However, a good population is where the women and the family youngsters and the children are under the able guidance of elders. They are taught, do this ritual, get up in the morning, pray, do your prayers, do the right thing, what is good, what is bad. Then they're brought up in a certain way, which is called varnashrama dharma. Basically, varna and ashrama is your ability by which you can do something. So those are the two differences. Did that answer your question, Mataji?
Yes, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, and there is a question from Vasant Prabhu regarding the object of senses. I'm unmuting him.
Sure.
Yeah, Vasant Prabhu, you may ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So regarding this object of senses, it's actually the eye which sees the object, right? And it's the mind which builds that attachment. Then why the body will get punished for the activity of eyes and mind?
Well, can I keep my... I'm trying to think of an answer, Prabhu. Like, we are all one and the same person, right? Can I keep my eye and mind separately? I'm a whole body, right? So if that is the reason why the body is suffering the consequences of my attachment or my lust to something. I'm not sure if I actually correctly answered your question, but if my mind and eyes are thinking of something and my body is getting punished for it, if my body doesn't get punished for it, what do you think should get punished for it then?
No, it's actually the senses which is actually doing the sin that should get punished, right? Not the other.
So yes, true. But think about it practically, right? Think about it practically. Okay, my eye is seeing something, and I was like, like you want Krishna to take away your eyesight. I don't think so. That would be the right thing to do, right? I get your point where you're saying, but practically, it's just it's not really possible. You're a one person. It's my eyes. It's my the smell. The senses are there. So I am one individual, and the individual has these different senses. So I got to pay up for what I get distracted with.
Sure. Thanks, Mataji. I have one more question.
Sure.
What is the significance of the number 108 in the Hindu Shastras?
Sure.
Most of the places I hear number 108 as a significant number.
So it is just a reference, Prabhu. Like, we have 108 Upanishads, which are the scriptures. Krishna had 108 gopis that were near and dear to him. So that is the reason why it's usually there. But there's not like any other major significance. It is just something that is prescribed. But that's a holy number just because we've used different references. The two ones that I shared with us, 108 Upanishads are there. There is 108 gopis that were near and dear to Krishna. So that's the reason why they use number 108.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Vibha, anything more? Otherwise,
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, go ahead.
So from Vivek Prabhu, he's asking to repeat what you stated about the Diksha, Guruji.
Vivek Prabhu here. Prabhu, you can unmute yourself. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I needed a little more. I needed a little more insight on the Diksha.
I'm sorry, Prabhu. You said you just want to know what is a Diksha Guru?
Yeah, Diksha Guru and how important is the Diksha.
So your audio is a little cutting off, Prabhu. So there was, I'll just repeat it. So Chaitya Guru was the Guru in your heart, which is the Paramatma. Pada Padaksha Guru is somebody that showed you the way. You know, if you got a link from a friend, that is Pada Padaksha Guru. Then it is Siksha Guru, a person who teaches you about different things like Bhagavad Gita or anything scripture wise, that is Siksha Guru. And then there is Diksha Guru. Diksha Guru is a person who initiates you, who puts you into the path where you take initiation, and they are a guru, just like a student has to put the time in to understand if this particular guru can be my Diksha Guru. Similarly, a Diksha Guru also has to choose a student, because it is said in scriptures that, you know, if you accept a disciple, you're responsible for them to reach Krishna. And if the guru might have been at that particular stage where he's self-realized and is going to go to Krishna, but if he cannot take the student along with him, guess what? They have to come back to the cycle of birth, death, old age, disease, and he will have to take birth again till the student or the disciple gets onto the platform. So it is a very serious business. They just cannot accept just anybody as a student. Are you still here, Prabhu? It was Vivek Prabhu, right? Vibha?
Yes, Mataji.
He's muted again. You can unmute, Prabhu. Not sure.
Yeah. I think you answered that.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we can take one more, Vibha, and then we can wrap up. But sorry, it's going another 2 hours.
Mataji, there are no more questions. That's it.
Perfect. I'm just going to check here.
Oppo Prabhu had a question, but 1 minute. There is one more question. Like from Vani Prasad, Mataji. Okay, like she wants to ask a question, but she doesn't know how to unmute it.
Vani Prabhu, it's
like sorry. She wants to unmute it when. Can you just unmute? I guess she has a question.
Vani Prasad, it's a Prabhu, I think. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Oh, sorry.
I can see you, Prabhu. I can see you talking. I cannot hear you. I'm not sure why. I unmuted you. I'm sorry. Please get some kids in your family or your kids to come and connect your connection. And, we'll be here tomorrow. So please check your connection. I'm really sorry. I can see you nodding. I can see everything. I can't lip sync in this virtual world. So Hare Krishna. Thank you again. So we'll meet tomorrow. I kindly request you to, see if you can read the abstract and read the chapter. Thank you so much, Anvaya Mataji. Thank you, Vibha. Hare Krishna. And we will meet everybody tomorrow. I am going to allow everybody
Mataji, recording is still going on.